Hi, everybody. Happy Friday to you. It's region weather meteorologist Matt Wintz. It's Friday night. You know what that means. Well, usually we're not doing anything with you on Friday night other than a graphic forecast. But on this particular Friday night, with Christmas coming up next week, I thought it'd be a good idea to take a look at the models and see if the blizzard of 2022 is still on track. And it might be, maybe not for us, but the models are very interesting tonight, especially the 12Z that came out earlier. So I figured, you know what? If you've got nothing else to do, we're going to go through all the models, look at the latest information. I'll give you what I'm thinking in terms of that, and then we'll get you on your way. Does that sound good? All right, let's run our intro video, then we'll be back with a forecast after this. All right, welcome in, everybody. I hope your Friday night is going smoothly so far. We've had some snow. There's some snow on the ground. There was some snow on the roads. Hopefully none of you were caught in that, but some slick spots for sure where we haven't had any salting going on or treated surfaces as expected. So hi there, Jay. Hi, Jeff. Thanks for joining us tonight. Boy, what an interesting forecast. I'm telling you, it gets so interesting from here. Quick thank of our sponsors. They keep this all for free. They're just wonderful. Ewing Residential Services. If you need anything HVAC related, that's your go-to place to go. TigerPlumbing.net, Discovery Travel. They'll get you out of here if you want to. It's DiscoveryTRVL.com, and also Griegers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Special thank you to all of them. Thanks, Don. I appreciate that. I hope your Friday night's going well, buddy. And then Brett, thank you. Hello. How are you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us here tonight. All right, let's get into the modeling because I've got a lot of weather to share with you. The snow that we've had here this evening is the same system that entered the U.S. last Saturday. All right, it's taken all week to go coast to coast. Yes, the same system that hit California with 5 feet of snow, the same system that produced the tornadoes down towards the south, same system that produced the blizzard up in the northern plains, same system that produced the heavy snow up in New England and all the ice in areas of West Virginia and the Appalachian Mountains. Same system. All week it's taken to go coast to coast. We've got the leftover swirl with it now, and we're in the southern fringe of that. So what we have are some scattered snow showers. We've had a couple rounds embedded within this low. This low is right over here over the north woods of Wisconsin. Embedded in this low are these little waves of energy that kind of ripple along it. And each of those waves of energy in the atmosphere produce lift. So you get these kind of lines of snow showers, one of which moved through this evening. We've got another one off towards our west. There's another one out towards the east. This is how it's going to go tomorrow. We'll have some dry hours in between with just flurries around, and then we'll get some snow showers from time to time as the next wave moves in. Again, we're not expecting a lot of snow from this. However, it doesn't take much snow to cause problems. And that's kind of what we're running into over not just the course of the day tomorrow, but even into Sunday, especially as you're driving east, if you're heading out in the snow belt, and especially up in Michigan. That's where the bulk of the snow is going to be with lake effect. But, not a ton of snow. This isn't a big event, but there's some snow. And it's been a while since we've had some snow on the ground. So we could have some problems with some of these reduced visibilities and brief rates of heavier snow and some of these snow showers. This will take all weekend to get out of here. We have no signs yet in the lower 48 of that system next week. The cold air is still up in Siberia. I was doing a forecast tonight and showing some temperatures over in Siberia. It's minus 57 right now at one of the sensors there. I didn't even look up the wind chill. I'm going to guess it's minus 70, minus 80. And I think people live there. So hopefully, I don't know. I don't know what to hope for. I hope they're okay. All right, here we go. Let's take you through the models and plan out your weekend first. Then we'll jump into next week's storm system. Here you go. This is tomorrow. Again, some snow showers around. A lot of this is kind of daytime driven as well. Just because we don't have the sun always, we still get that heat from the sun coming through the clouds, right? Solar radiation. So that helps to produce a little bit of heat at the ground, produces more lift in the atmosphere. So we tend to develop more snow showers in the afternoon and evenings. So that will be the case tomorrow. More scattered snows, just the lake snows on going up towards Michigan, still some snow back towards our west. And it's just going to be snow showery in nature. All indication is that tomorrow evening we get one of those waves that I was talking about of lift in the atmosphere, and that would kick off additional snow showers, kind of a little bit more widespread tomorrow evening. So just keep that in mind if you've got Saturday evening plans, which I'm sure a lot of you do. whether it be Christmas parties early, or you're finishing up shopping, or getting together with friends. Whatever that happens to be, we could have some slick spots tomorrow evening, especially once that sun goes down. It's a totally different ball game. Things can accumulate quicker. They don't melt on the surfaces of roads as easily. So again, there's that. That's your warning. And then as we go into the day on Sunday, we'll eventually get some drier air in here. We'll start to clear things out. Even the lake effect will start to come to an end in Michigan. How much snow over the weekend? Not much. This is the model I trust the most. This is the HRRR model right now. The NAM has similar amounts. It's a little bit more streaky. I don't really like it. But you can see amounts are light. Coating maybe up to an inch in some of these snow showers. They have been a little bit more impressive than what the models have been saying, but not a lot. If you're traveling up towards Michigan, though, I-94, especially that beginning stretch in Michigan, you're going to have a little bit more snow to contend with. They're going to end up with 6 to 10 inches in spots up there. You got to get up towards Grand Rapids. Even Kalamazoo might get into that. If you're traveling east out towards, Fort Wayne, we're looking okay. Just some scattered snow. South Bend looks okay as well. This isn't a big event for them. And then west, it looks even better. So we get better as you get west, and south down towards Indy, more of the same. Okay, that's your weekend forecast. All right, let's jump into what these models are doing. I know a lot of you probably clicked on this thing, hey, date with models tonight. I swear I didn't do it as clickbait. Anyway, so a couple things. We've got a couple knowns still. If you've joined me last couple nights, we've talked about this. We've got cold air coming in. That's a known. Okay, it's going to get cold around here. Christmas is going to be cold, and I'm talking Arctic cold. Okay, we know that. That's not going to change in the forecast. The numbers might fluctuate a little bit, but they're not going to fluctuate much. Okay, very cold Christmas. Days leading up to Christmas, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The thing we still don't know is, the other thing we know, let's stick with that, is that we're going to get a storm system, and it's going to be a big storm system because there's a punch of Arctic air, a 200-knot jet stream, which is incredible this time of year, screaming into this thing. So I've always used the reference of taking your hand through bath water and moving it, right? And when you move it, the atmosphere is fluid. It's the same idea. When you move it, you get those spin-ups on the side, right? The water spins on the sides. You get those little swirls. Same thing with our atmosphere. We've got this strong push of Arctic air screaming in here from Siberia, northern Alaska eventually, that's coming in 200 knots. I mean, it's just impressive how fast this is coming in. And when that comes in fast, just like when you move your hand fast through water, you get that spin up. That's exactly what's going to happen with our atmosphere. We're going to spin up some kind of low that is going to be a big old low, right? And what that means for anyone around it is a lot of wind, likely a lot of moisture with it, and a very intense storm. All right. You combine that with a very strong high pressure coming in from Canada that's delivering some of that cold air, and you're going to have a wind gradient with that that's going to produce a big wind machine for eastern half of the country. All right. It's going to be a big one. The thing we don't know is where exactly this spins up, exactly how that pushes into our atmosphere and forms the swirl, right? And in turn, that means we don't know where the really heavy snow is going to be or how this low is going to develop. We're still 6 days out from this, all right? When we get in the 3 to 5 day range, that's when we start to hone in on what that low is going to look like. When we get in the 1 to 3 day range, that's when we start to focus in on how much snow and where that snow is going to be. So we're still far out from that. However, the models are in a little bit better agreement today in how this develops. So I want to show you the latest. This is the most impressive one by far. I'm not saying it's right, but this is the Euro, and this is the 12Z Euro. And I'm going to show you what it's kind of spinning up here. Okay. So here we go. This is your weekend. You notice there's some snow around the Great Lakes. Yeah, we got that. We already covered that. We quiet down a little bit on Monday. It's interesting because this system right here, I mentioned this last night. There's two different phases. This is Monday night and a Tuesday now. There's this little wave of energy to the north, another one to the south. The Euro hasn't been crazy at all about bringing it together. So it has an area of snow that kind of moves off towards the north, rain that stays south. The GFS brought both together and brought us a light accumulating snow Monday into Tuesday. We'll still need to watch that just because the Euro doesn't have any snow on us. We may see those phase together. So we could have some kind of system in here Monday, Tuesday. It wouldn't be too impactful and it'd be pretty quick. And then everything kind of calms down in the atmosphere. It's all waiting on this big system later next week. So here it comes. This is the initial punch of that cold air coming in. What's going to happen with this is, and this is area, I'm just going to show you the numbers here in a little bit. It's impressive with the wind. It goes from like calm wind to 50 mile per hour winds almost all over the Midwest with this, and freezing cold air. But in terms of snow, this is how it spins up. So here comes this big punch of cold air. The Euro is the warmest of all the models. It brings that low in and develops it to our west. So that brings warmer air in here briefly on Thursday. So this is when we start to feel the impacts of the system, is Wednesday night and a Thursday. May have a little snow initially. Again, we're not going to look at this model too much, and we're not going to look at this model and say this is exactly what's going to happen, because it's not exactly what's going to happen. But it gives us an idea of how this storm could come together. So we'd have some rain around here on Thursday. Here's this powerful low that comes right up over Chicago and Northwest Indiana Thursday night and Friday. This would be a deepening, strengthening, strong low. And we go from rain wrapping into this to heavy snow as this low wraps up. And the temperatures would go from probably 40 degrees, if this is true. It'd probably go from around 40 degrees on Thursday night down to 0 in a matter of hours. I mean, I am very impressed by this. I've never seen output like this. And again, not saying it's true, but it's a solution that the models are putting out. And a model I trust very much, which is the European. Okay, so take it with a grain of salt. This could be how it develops, okay? And then on Thursday, the cold air wraps in here. We go from 40 to 0 degrees, and then we talk heavy snow. We'd probably have 50-mile-per-hour winds with this if this were to hold true. You notice the low back towards Illinois. Eventually, this whole thing kind of spirals its way around through areas of Kentucky and then up the East Coast. East Coast gets hit with this. We have heavy lake effect on the backside on Friday, and then we just deal with lake effect for Saturday, which is Christmas Eve, and Sunday. That's another thing I'm pretty confident in saying, is that the system will be out of here. Wherever the system looks like it would be out by Friday. Even if it misses us, it would be out by Friday, and we'd be left over with some lake effect. It does look like Saturday and Sunday we would have some form of lake effect snow around the region, and whatever system it is out. So you can plan on that. So cold and lake effect, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, look pretty likely at this point. All right, let me show you the other solutions, though. This is the GFS. I want to show you the 12Z because that runs a little bit longer in time. It develops this low further south. So we get some snow initially Wednesday night into Thursday. So time frame's still the same. But notice the impacts are different. This storm is way down by Atlanta. This brings snow all the way down to Florida. I'm not saying it's not true or it can't happen. It may. It's just a little bit harder to believe. That poor GFS just tries its best, that American model. It's like, I don't know. There's just something missing from it. I don't know what it is. But what that would do for us here locally is we would get cold Thursday and a Friday. So that stays true. We would develop some kind of lake effect snow band coming off Lake Michigan. That looks likely. And we'd still have snow and cold and wind. This thing would head up the East Coast. It would really impact the East Coast. And we would have the lake effect Saturday. And then Sunday, it would be kind of moving out. Either of those options give us a white Christmas, though. All right. We're cold enough in all these options to give us a white Christmas. So I'm still confident about that. The last thing I want to show you is the GEM. This is the Canadian model. We look at it to see if it believes more so the Euro or leans more towards the European, or I mean, the GFS. And this is what it does. It's kind of Euro-ish, right? It brings a low through us. It has us on the warmer side. So that would be rain on Thursday. And then eventually that rain would quickly change over to a heavy snow Thursday night. By Friday, we've got wind, cold, snow, widespread. And then that lake effect, that theme is still there on Saturday into Sunday, which is Christmas Day. Still a white Christmas, okay? Two more things I want to show. I want to show you temperatures and what the potential is for this temperature drop to be. And then I want to show you the wind with this, because that's impressive. All these things are just amazing to see on the modeling. And then we'll answer your questions as we usually do. And then you can get on to your Friday night with a little bit more weather knowledge as to what we're looking for this week. So let's fast forward. So here you go. This is Thursday. These are your temperatures. Here's your 40s that I was talking about. Remember that low wraps up right over us? Look at this. This is just potential. 43 in Gary, 46 down in Rensselaer. You go down to Champaign in Illinois, it's 7 degrees. It's -2 in St. Louis. That's insane, right? It can happen. Some of the biggest snowstorms and systems that we've had years past have always had this warm air envelope that comes in, where you get the warm, you have the rain, and then you have this drastic cold on the backside of it. But this would be incredible. So we go from 40 Thursday night, as I mentioned, to 7 in a matter of a few hours, and we would likely stay in the teens throughout the day. Just incredible. I mean, this is all just bitterly cold air. It's as cold as we get this time of year, single digits for highs. I mean, that's what we're looking at, okay? So that was interesting. And the other thing I want to show you is the wind. So let's show you the wind gusts here, and then go ahead and get your questions going. I'd be happy to answer those for you too, okay? Where's my wind? Here we go. Oh, and then we have to look at snowfall totals because that's just fun, okay? Remember, don't trust any snowfall totals you see this far out. Please don't. But if I get to see them, you should get to see them too, right? Okay, so let's look at wind gusts. Here we go. And we're going to take this with the system. So wind is fine on Wednesday, right? Look at this gust front coming in. This is the Arctic air. Widespread 40 to 50 mile per hour winds coming in with us. We turned into the 20 and 30 mile per hour range. The gusts come in. We've got 40. We've got 60 mile per hour winds out in Iowa as this low swirls up. I mean, just an incredible system is possible. I get kind of caught up in this and say, the Euro is impressive. Like those are some crazy numbers. But I have to remember as a meteorologist, the GFS could happen too, where this whole thing, it's a big system, but we don't get a lot of snow from it. We don't get a lot of wind. That can happen just as easily as well. Okay. But it's really easy to get caught up in these amazing model runs and say, wow, if only that happened, that is just an incredible feat of Mother Nature, right? Or not, depending on your view of this. Last thing I want to show you snowfall totals. These are just some of the model outputs that are going out. And again, I've given you the precursor of don't believe these. But we like to look at trends, right? So this is the Euro. Here's your Thursday. Here's your Friday. Here's your Saturday. Here's your Sunday. So this is Thursday through Sunday, which is Christmas. How much snow do we get? The Euro is spitting out anywhere from about 10 to 17 inches in the region. And not just that, if you were traveling, this is going to be widespread. I mean, this has snow all the way down to Nashville. It's got 10 to 30 inch totals, especially up in Michigan. It's got a 48 inch total up by Marquette. This is going to be a widespread system, and wherever it blankets snow, it's going to be putting that snow down, okay? Couple of things to keep in mind. We talked about this on our newscast tonight, and I think these are great pointers. This is going to cause shipping delays in the country, okay? The Midwest and Northeast. So if you just ordered a gift, whatever it happens to be, and you're expecting it to arrive Christmas Eve, maybe 2 days before Christmas because you got it a little earlier, it may not. I would imagine this is going to cause all sorts of delays shipping-wise and all that stuff. Keep that in mind. Might be a better idea to go shop local and grab something if you really need a gift for someone, if you have something arriving later on. So just keep that in mind, helping you plan your weekend and next week. The other thing is travel. I've had a couple coworkers that live out of town, some of them far away, and they were supposed to take off on Thursday. Thursday's when things start to go downhill, not just for us, but for airports all across the eastern half of the country, right? So the delays are going to pick up at airports on Thursday. If for some reason you have a flight on Thursday or Friday or even Saturday looks a little bit better, at least locally. I think Northeast is going to be getting hit, LaGuardia, all the major hubs out east. So that causes delays back here, towards O'Hare or wherever you fly out of. But just keep in mind, if you have a Thursday or Friday flight, the safe day to fly this week would be Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday look great as well. And I had a coworker just change her flight for $60. That's it. And she took off a day earlier. She's going to, which is going to save her any trouble. So those are the two things that I want to kind of throw your way in terms of the gifts and the flights if you are heading out of town. If you're just driving to grandma's house, it's going to be rough, but it depends on the outcome here. But we are definitely going to have snow around here, and it's going to be windy and cold. So there's that. All right, let's look at some other totals here. This is the GFS, not that one. We're going to look at this one because the 0Z is just now coming in. The GFS, you notice, and this is what I talked about, this could be another solution, has a heavy snow out east. For us, it has a general 3 to 6, but then it throws lake effect on top of that because we are going to get some lake effect from this, and that has a good foot or so in Lake and Porter counties. Your turn this time, right? Depending on the angle of that low, but still some appreciable totals out towards LaPorte County. And then the last one we'll show you is the Canadian model. That one tends to like snow. That's got 32 inches of snow up in Berrien County, close to a foot in portions of the region, 8 inches in others. But you get the idea. The odds of us having a white Christmas are pretty good this year. It just depends on how white of a Christmas you're looking for. And I think a lot of us, again, are going to be dealing with some kind of shovelable snowfall, whether it be from a system or whether it be from lake effect. All right. So that's it. That's all I got for you tonight. Again, tomorrow, the models are going to be something similar to this, I'm sure. But again, they can adjust, 50 to 100 miles east or west. And then, we've got a different scenario here. The things, again, to recap that I'm pretty confident on as a meteorologist, the cold air is coming. Okay. It's going to be bitterly cold around here starting sometime Thursday and then especially Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So all of that looks cold. As cold as we get this time of year, probably single digits and teens for highs, lows single digits to near zero. Wind chills far below that. Okay. And we're not going to be alone with that. So the cold is, I'm very confident saying that. We're going to have some kind of big storm system in the eastern half of the country. I'm confident in saying that. Where it goes, not confident. Okay. The other thing I'm confident in is the fact that I think we're going to have lake effect. Pretty sure about that. And that would be Friday, Saturday, at least. Could linger into Christmas Day. Where exactly the lake effect sets up, too early to tell. But it would favor all of Northwest Indiana, especially if there's some kind of big storm. We tend to get some pretty decent lake effect that's consistent. So there's that. The track will sort out over the next couple of days. The strength of the system, what it looks like, how it evolves, that's all stuff we'll sort out over the next couple of days. And we'll be obviously share it with you. I'm going to answer your questions here. Next broadcast we're going to do is going to be Sunday night, our typical Region Weather Live Sunday night. Sometime, just depending on when we get the kids to bed, sometime between 8:30 local time, probably around 8:30 local time. Let's just say that. All right. That seems to be the sweet spot. Maybe a little bit earlier. All right. If the kids are to bed earlier, I do like to have an evening with my wife because I don't see her on nights like this. Right. But anyway, that's the next time we'll talk and we'll give you a good update on that. We should have some better information in terms of how this system is going to evolve then too. Okay. All right, let's get to your questions. Thank you guys for all your nice comments. Gail, Michael, thank you very much for the stars on Facebook. I appreciate that. It's not what I do this for, but I appreciate that. We use that as diaper money, I promise. Melissa says big totals. Melissa's excited. I am too. Joshua's excited about the new GFS. Yeah, it sure is, Joshua. Here's the deal though, with the GFS and with all computer models, the 0Z is not always the most accurate. Okay, that 12Z is the one that gives us all this raw data coming in from observations that are current. The 0Z takes some of the stuff from the 12Z. It gets recycled from the 18Z and gets recycled in the 0Z. So if the 12Z is wrong, which I kind of think it is in terms of the GFS, that means the 18Z is a little off, and that means the 0Z is a little bit further off. So just keep that in mind in terms of the models. Okay, let's see. Melissa says, didn't you say a year or two ago that you like the Canadian model for wintertime? Not always, Melissa. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It tends to put out a lot of snow. So when we're talking winter weather forecasting, the Canadian model loves snow. The one thing the Canadian model is not good at is hurricanes, which makes sense. There's no hurricanes in Canada. So there you go. Maxwell, that's a good question. If the Euro is right, this could be very similar to the 2011 blizzard. There's going to be a wind component to this, probably 50, 60 miles per hour. There's going to be a snow component from this. The only thing about that Euro that I don't like is that the winds with it just aren't, they're not wrapped in with that snow band. With the 2011 blizzard, it came up through Indiana and we had that real compact snow on the backside of that low. This one doesn't look like it. This one looks like we get some kind of bursts of heavy snow and then everything kind of goes away for a second and then comes back at us. It's got a different look to it. But either way, I mean, I think someone's going to get a blizzard out of this, whether this be East Coast, whether it be us, Ohio Valley, someone's going to get something decent. Jay says, with the warm air push possible on Wednesday, Thursday, will it be rain the whole time or will we have a dry period before the rain begins? Jay, I believe what you're asking for is in terms of prepping, like treating roadways, parking lots, all that stuff. And if you're not, I think this is good advice for that. I think when it moves in, we could have some snow initially because we're going to have some cold air in place. If we get that warm push, I don't see much of a break. I think we'd go from snow to maybe a couple hour window, and then the rain would come in, and the rain and wind would take over after that. Where that makes it difficult for our snowplow drivers, for everyone keeping us safe on the roads and trying to pre-treat, you can't pre-treat when it rains, okay? Because the pre-treatment just washes right out, and that's a problem. And if this Euro solution is right, which again, grain of salt when we look at this, okay? We're not saying it's just a possible solution. Let me go back to the 12Z. If this Euro solution is right and we get this right here, so we get that initial snow right there, there's your 2-hour break, and then the rain moves in. If this is right, it's problematic from pre-treating roads because we would get heavy rain and then we would have a huge temp drop from 40 to 0. Talk about flash freeze. Plus, on top of that 0 degrees, we're throwing heavy snow. I mean, this would be just nasty if this was true. I mean, you can't pre-treat in that case. And then you have a layer of ice on the bottom from all the rain you got that freezes instantly in an hour because you're down to 0. And then you're throwing incredible snowfall rates with 0 visibility on top of it with wind. I mean, this is just a nasty solution right here where we go from rain to snow with the Euro model. So there you go. Joshua, absolutely. Tom, now. And then just put the bread in your freezer. We'll see. This may be a milk and bread system. Who knows? It's been a while, right? Melissa, you're welcome. I appreciate that. Kimberly, it all goes down. It starts to go down on Thursday. All right. And the degree to which it goes down is what we need to sort out over the next couple days. But Thursday is when the system hits. Friday, we're still going to feel the impacts of it. We'll likely turn to lake effect Saturday. That may linger into Christmas Day. Maxwell, I don't think so. There will be some freezing. Lake Erie would be the first. Superior would probably have it along the coastline. This is a cold spell for sure. I don't think they'll freeze over. I think we're going to get good icing by January 1st around here. But I don't think they'll completely freeze over. So we'll still have lake effect potential as we go on into beginning of January, because we've had a pretty mild fall so far. And now, we have winter starting next week, and it's definitely going to feel like winter outside. Jay, absolutely. Philip, that's a good question. Philip asks, what do I think will happen? Philip, I think I gave you everything that I'm thinking because I don't want to dive into the details yet. There's too much room for error. I don't know what's going to happen with this. As a meteorologist who loves snow and big storm systems, I like to wishcast. So, I don't want anyone to have harm from this or anything like that. I don't want terrible travel, but I kind of want the solution, right? I want to sit back comfortably and watch this from the studio while I spend the night, whatever it happens to be. This is just an amazing feat of Mother Nature if this happens, okay? But in terms of opinion on what's going to happen, I just don't know yet. I can't tell you what I think is going to happen because I like to be as transparent with you guys about what I'm seeing and what I'm thinking. I think we get cold. I think we get lake effect, which would put down enough snow. I just don't know where this low is going to go. I don't know yet, but I do think it's going to be some kind of big system during that time frame. JD wants to push it off till the following week. I feel you there. Drita, right now it looks like Thursday during the day. It's a little too specific to get down to the hour of this. But I would say Thursday during the day, things would go downhill. Wednesday night is really when we get the first wave of whatever this is coming in. But if it follows the American solution, we wouldn't get much at all. It would be pretty ho-hum around here on Thursday with that temp drop. So it's too hard to put a timing on it quite yet. Maxwell, you're welcome. Kyle, you're welcome as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate the kind words. All right, guys. Well, that's all I've got for you tonight. Again, I'll join you Sunday night once again. We'll discuss all this sometime around the 8:30 local time hour. And we'll go from there. We'll keep you updated in terms of graphics this weekend with your weekend forecast. We have a little bit of snow to deal with now, but that should be pretty small in comparison to what's headed our way. So, okay. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. I certainly appreciate it. We'll talk to you on Sunday.